Hello and welcome back to Pulsar Games. I've got an updated Traptrix deck profile for you. So I came first place in the Bens OTS with this list, or at least something very similar, and took it to YCS Dortmund, where I sadly didn't do too well. I ended up going 6-3, not enough to make day 2, which is very sad. Some of it I probably could have played better, some of it was just down to variance. But yeah, I think the deck is very strong. Post Agav's going to be a bit weird, but it should be fine. And do a bit of sponsorship as well. So if you want to get yourself 5% off of pre-orders at Kong's Cards, you can use code TeamKong5. It will be in the description as well. And if you want to get yourself 5% off of more higher end cards, you can use code Pulsar5 at Cardboard Concierge, which will also be in the description. But without further ado, let's get on into the list. So of course we play 3 Podiger, 3 Mamelio and 3 Mantis. Not much to say there, you need your starters, all good. 2 Diner, 2 Arachnocampa. We still play the Pyrolytic Seed. Very strong opening. Any opener plus Exceed gets you very far naturally. Any one of these 9 plus any sort of half extender will get you there. All pretty standard really. I don't think much more needs to be said. If you do have any questions about certain text though, you can leave them in the comments and I will do my best to reply. For hand traps, we play 3 Ash and 3 Imperm. So drop the draw. In the main deck it's not good with the popularity of things like Unchained. It can be okay against things like Teal, which is a new deck that's just come out. But I say it's just come out, it's just come back into the format. But there are better hand traps for dealing with that. If we only have space for say one of those hand traps in the side, then we're going to choose the better one. You know, you don't really get any points for guessing which it is, it's pretty obvious. But anyway, moving on from the hand traps, we go to the spell cards. And this is where things change slightly. So we still play the Garden, that's obviously insane. Play 3 Prosperity for consistency, 2 Thrust and 1 Talents. I'll get a little bit more into some of the cool things you can do with Thrust. It's a very strong card, these absolutely ridiculous. We got 2 Eclipse, 1 Duster and 1 Herald of the Abyss. I was expecting a lot of Pearly. I only ended up playing 1 in the end, which was kind of weird. I didn't play against any Flunder, which I was very sad about because it's your best matchup. But against Pearly, this is of course anything you need: Eclipse or Herald, and a Thrust accesses Herald because they're going to draw in your standby phase. It lets you deal with that monster and then you can easily just overpower, and once you clear the board, they might have all the spells back, but you can stop them getting to anything too crazy. You can Floodgate Happy, so you're not too fussed about them trying to OTK next turn. And of course, Redo is very strong. And the last in the main deck is just some Trap Hole cards. We've got 3 Holiday, 1 Nightmare, 1 Gravediggers, and 2 Floodgate. I think this is all you need. Some of the others are kind of cool. You can struggle sometimes versus normal Summon Fallen of Albaz, but you got Imperm, I guess, for it, and Redoer. It's not the end of the world, but it's, you know, certainly is something to consider. But that's it for the main deck. I think it was a very strong main deck. I'm very happy. It's been refined over the course of the events as well, and that's the main deck I'm sticking with so far. So we'll go on to the extra deck. We've got the Triple Serra, pretty standard, Cularia, Atipus, and this is where it gets a little bit different. Play Trouble Sunny, and for the YCS I did play Linger Evo, but I also changed it. I changed 2 cards, one in the side deck, one in the extra deck for the YCS and post YCS. I changed the Linger Evo for an Elder Entity Entis. It's pretty standard why these are here, or pretty should be understood why these are here. They're here for Ultimate Slayer, which is an incredible card this format. For the Xyz, play 2 Pingy, 1 Wrath, 1 Alameris, 1 Redoer, 1 Dweller, 1 Baguska and 1 Zeus. So I cut Exciton. It's just not been coming up since Kashtira has been pretty much like wiped from the format. You just do not need it. There's better rank 4s been making a lot of the time. Baguska's going to be your go-to guy. In some matchups I've had to make a Baguska to put, say, a Dragoon into defense, and then, you know, if they've already used the effect or whatever, and then link it off and then actually attack over it because it's really big. That's like one of your ways to deal with it. So all these are pretty much mainstays. Even the Zeus, to be fair, I considered cutting, but I think you just need to keep the Zeus. It's that much to have it in the extra deck as an option is too big. But this is the extra deck. With the new extra deck, I'm swapping the Linger about for Entis because there was so little rescue ace. I didn't feel like I needed it for the Ivoli lock. And Entis is going to get so much more value against the fusion decks because you can use Ultimate Slayer against it. But yeah, the extra deck I was very happy with. 2 Pingy I still think is very crucial. With more fusion decks about, Pingy's so much more stronger. So against, say, Tier, for example, you can just take the Fuser when they try to fuse. Anything that's going to be a threat in the grave, you can take it. It's just really nice. Against the Chimera branded decks, you can take the Albaz, you can take the any of the fusion. It's just putting a lot of work, and being unaffected by those types as well can come up. Also, there's a really cool thing you can do with this. If you can somehow put a rock under it, you can Nibiru, and then it just doesn't get affected by it. It's kind of funny. It won't come up, but it's kind of neat. So that's the extra deck, and moving on to the side deck. So Big Boy Pank is always there. He's always the man. Always got to play Pank. He's just solid deal with boards. You're pretty much always going to get 2 for 1 out of this card, which is anytime you can get a +1 is always nice. 3 Shifter, which is what I was on about earlier with the Droll Unlock Bird or Shifter. So like I say, Droll is okay against Tier, but Shifter is just better. And it's Shifter's quite good against Chimera. It's okay against Dragon Link. It's okay against Menadium, but I probably wouldn't side it in. It's okay against Pearly. Can stop him using Pearl Lily to like access the spells in the grave or recycle back. And it's okay against Unchained if you drop it at the right time. It forces them to either make a Machinex, which you can deal with, or they just end on no trap cards, which is so much easier to play into. And then we play the Ultimate Slayer target. So we play Evil Twins, Kiskill and Lilla, as well as 3 Ultimate Slayer. So at first, for the YCS, this was 1 dimensional barrier. But I ended up dropping D-barrier altogether, which you could say was a mistake, you could say not, but it just, I don't know, even with the thrust, it just wasn't coming up. Because if the Tier player is going to play, they're going to play in your turn, they're going to play things like Havnis, they might hit a Miller, and then at that point, a set D-barrier is not going to do anything because they're already so far ahead. And a lot of the time, they can play without using the fusions. As weird as that sounds, they can still do quite a lot without fusing. So, in the updated list, 3 Ultimate Slayer, I think is the way to go. This card is amazing right now. The 3rd Thrust, for when you go in second, you want to be able to access this card if you're against Pearly, you know, Duster, just in general. Lightning Storms, it's just incredible. 3rd Eclipse for Pearly as well. I was kind of fearing Pearly because you really struggle against just a Noir for some reason. You just struggle to out it since we're not playing Kaijus or anything anymore. So to have the option of the Abyss or the Eclipse is just enough. So you can actually deal with the Noir. And once you've dealt with the Noir, you're having a great time. And then 3 Anti-Spell, because you flip this card, you're just gonna win. Like, the only thing they'll have is Cosmic, so this card's just crazy. She needs to be banned, to be fair. It cuts like off all these cards. What was I gonna say? They shouldn't really be siding this against you as well, but this does hurt. They can do if they see all the spells in the main deck, like Thrust, Talents, etc. But usually people think, oh, trap deck, lots of traps. Most builds are only playing like a couple of spells like the Garden and maybe another spell, but I think the spell build is the way to go because you get so much value off this. Oh, another cool thing I found with this as well. If you go first, it's going to involve these cards. You go Mantis, you go normal summon Mantis, you activate the effect, they ash it for whatever reason. You can then Thrust, set the talents. What I'll do is I'll clear this side deck away so it gets less messy. And then I'll explain the play. You should probably already see it by now. You know what Thrust, they throw an ash at it because they're like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Let me just find an ash real quick. They throw an ash at it, like, no, I don't want to deal with that. So, okay, Thrust, set talents. And then you can use Mantis to return the talents to your hand, play the talents, look at the hand, and then you can just play on. Or you can draw some cards if you need to draw some cards, or, you have a few options. That's a really cool thing I found out with that. But yeah, that's the list. I'm quite happy with it overall. It can play into boards quite well. The only time you're going to really struggle is going second, so that... sorry, I should say going second where you open a load of normal summons. So that was one of my losses in Dortmund. I lost the die roll to Sprite because, over the course of the event I won 2 die rolls. Lovely. So he's playing Melfi Sprite, so he goes first, game 3, sets up shop, and then you're just going to have a bad time. And then I went into a side event as well, played a Mega Challenge, I ended up going 5-1 in that. I feel like I could have won one of the rounds that I lost, well, the only round that I lost, but I made a misplay, and I had a talent, and what I should have done is taken control of his Rocket Tracer, because he had a blind Druid Worm in hand, I didn't know it was there. So if I take control of that, then I'm having a good time. And then he just doesn't have any interrupts and I can set up shop, but it's okay, I ended up getting a cool mat and stuff. But yeah, that is the list, quite happy with it. Age of Overlord is going to be slightly different. I feel like Evenly might see play again, just because like, everything has so many more cards, so Droplet's going to be good again. The reason I didn't like Droplet at the moment is because you just don't have enough cards to utilise it, whereas with the new Gen and Kens, they're incredible. So Evenly might be seen play again, so do be aware there will be more Evenlys in the format. So take that into consideration, your deck builds. But yeah, either way, I've rambled enough. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. There will be links to the sponsors in the description where you can get yourself some nice deals on some pre-orders and some high-end stuff. And yeah, hope you have a great day. I've been Pulsar Games, and I'll see you all next time.